Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending this third CTT Open Call webinar. I am going to explain the main basics of this call, which is the last one, as my colleague Christos was mentioning in the program, and then I will leave the floor to my colleague Linda to explain how to apply in this call. Christos already explained the goals of Smart for All, but just to summarize, I'd like to highlight the main keywords that you need to take into account. It has to be cross-border experiments, meaning that what we are pretending is to fund experiments from different countries or from partners from different countries. And it has to be a transfer of knowledge and technology transfer between academia and industry. So in the customized low energy computing for cyber physical systems and the Internet of Things. So this will be key in your proposals that from the technological point of view, they address these three things. So CLEC, CPS, and IoT. And regarding our main focus is on what we call the underrepresented geographical areas, especially the Southeast Europe region. We'll define this region later. And of course, in the four Smart for All verticals that were already mentioned by Nikos, but by Christos, sorry. But here you have some examples of the competence fields that we can address, or you can address in whatever the vertical you are involved in. So basically, we are talking about digitized transport, digitized environment, digitized agriculture, and digitized anything which covers the rest of the topics that are not included in these three verticals. This is just examples. You have this information, this table in the guide for applicants, which, by the way, is the key document. I highly recommend all of you to read and peruse this document in order to you will find there all the answers to the questions you may have, together with the frequently asked questions, of course. So the current open call is this CTT, which means Cross-Domain Technology Transfer Experiment, and it involves three partners. One partner is the technology provider, who can be academic or industrial. This technology provider will transfer a technology to one industrial technology receiving partner. So the technology receiving partner has to be an industrial partner. And he will receive that technology as an early adopter. And then there is a third partner, as opposed to the previous call, which was the FTT. We have an additional one, which is what we call a productization partner. The productization partner is an industrial partner too, that extends the value chain by making the market wider, making the product more improving the product in terms of outreach, in terms of impact. And this partner has to be, as I say, industrial. So this call or this experiment will last 9 months, and the funding is up to 80,000 euros. The call was opened on the 21st of October, and it will close on the 17th of January at 17 CET. This is important because please note that we are always talking about CET time, Brussels time, so 5 o'clock p.m. CET Brussels style. Who can apply? As I said, there are two different types of categories of applicants or partners of an application, which are what we call the academic. The academic partner can be universities or any other academic institutions. And this industrial, what we mean by industrial is SMEs or slightly bigger companies. It means companies that have less than 500 employees or less than 100 million euros of turnover. So in this CTT, as I said, the partners had to join in a consortium, and the consortium has to be composed of 3 entities, as I said before, and it has to be led, this consortium, by an industrial partner. So the academic partner cannot be the leading partner of the consortium. As I also said, it has to be cross-border. So at least 2 eligible countries need to be present in the consortium. It doesn't mean that the 3 partners need to belong to 3 different countries, but at least 2 countries need to be different. And the consortia, this is very important, need to have at least 1 partner from the SEE region or Ukraine. In this call, we have included Ukraine as one of the prioritized countries for the reasons you might all know, and we want to promote this country as well. So Southeastern Europe includes Greece, and in the first calls, Greece was also a prioritized country, but in the last calls, we have removed Greece from this prioritization list of countries because we want to fund a wider number of proposals coming from other countries from that region. So, as I said, this is the combinations that you can have as a consortium. The entity one, I mean, the technology provider can be either a university or an industrial partner, but both the technology receiver and the productization partners have to be industrial. The eligible countries are the EU member states, H2020 associated countries, other SEE countries. For example, Kosovo is one of the countries that does not belong to the EU or H2020 associated countries, but we include them, and also the United Kingdom. But bear in mind, as I said before, that in spite of any of these countries being eligible, the consortia have to include at least 1 member that belongs to the SEE countries or Ukraine. So what is the specifics for this technology transfer? So what we are expecting to get is, from the technology point of view, is a new product received by the technology receiver that is improved thanks to the intervention of the technology provider, who will provide technology, a novel technology that allows the new product to have a reduction in the power or energy consumption, and also that this power reduction, it can enable new features, new applications, or open new market verticals. So very important is that the proposal in the technical aspect, they cover the fact that there is a low energy consumption of the product, of the resulting product from the technology receiver in the products they have currently, thanks to the transfer of technology from the technology provider. So There are some examples, like a compression algorithm with adequate adaptation enhancement is used in wireless communication for medical purposes, or a hardware, so it can be software or hardware. A hardware accelerator is integrated and used in surveillance or medical. This is just examples. And you can find more examples from the previous winners in our website. Sorry. Now, how to apply? I will give the floor to my colleague Linda, since there are some novelties compared to the way that you would apply in previous calls.
Thanks, Antonio. So to apply, you have to go to this website that I've listed here, the app.GetOnePass.eu. You just have to go and create an account. So ideally, it should be one of the industrial partners that creates the account here. Can you go to the next slide, Antonio? So when you sign up, it brings you into what we call an onboarding wizard. So this is very simple, just 2 screens where you enter some information about you, who you are and the role in the company. And then in the next screen, if you go on one, Antonio, you can, back one, you can enter some information about your organization. So here, your website, etc. And then when you go to the next page, when you finish the wizard, it's very quick, you get these 2 options. So here you can go directly to the funding opportunities, or you can complete your funding profile. You don't need to do that right now. The idea of the funding profile is so that later on, if you want to go back in and look at other funding opportunities, there will be other possibilities where you could reuse your account if you create it here. But particularly for this, say, CTE open call, you can just go straight to funding opportunities, and that will bring you into the CTTE. So if you go to the next screen, Antonio. When you go into the funding opportunities, you'll see here a link for the CTTE open call. So if you click on the details, next slide, Antonio, you will see all of the information about the open call here. Note at the bottom of this screen, you'll have all the documents that are relevant for the open call. So you'll have the guide for applicants, and also there'll be some templates here related to the budget template that you need. And so everything that you need here to complete the application form will be there. So keep an eye on that. There's an apply button on this page as well, and that brings you directly into the application form. So in here, you will add the information on your 2 partners, and also of all the other questions that are relevant for this application form. Click on the next slide, Anthony. So here you complete all the forms. When you're ready to submit, and just note that this is slightly different to previous open calls. If anybody used our previous application or previous platform, you can't edit after you submit the application form, so keep that in mind. So you can enter all of the information. You can go out, sorry, you can go out and come back in, and it'll be exactly as it was when you left it. So it saves the data as you go along. But when you click on submit, you'll have to sign it. This is just so that you won't submit by accident. When you submit, then you can't edit afterwards. So bear that in mind. And I think that's the last slide, Antonio. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Linda.
Can I just add one thing, Antonio? If anybody has any problems or anything, you will find in various places in all of these screens, when you're in the application, there's a support email. So if you have any problems, just click on support and email us, and we'll address the problem straight away if you do have any, or any questions on how to use the application form. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks. So I would say that aside the formalities or the formal things of this application form, what it is very important to note is that now, once you submit, you cannot resubmit anymore. So you can do any changes by saving the changes, but you cannot submit and resubmit as you could do with the previous platform. Okay, let's continue very briefly with, once you have submitted your application, once the deadline has come, which is the 17th of January, there will be a selection process that will start. So right after the deadline, there is an eligibility check that is done by us, by Fundybox, just checking whether the partners are right. We have the three kinds of partners that we have no academic partner in the technology receiver part or in the productization part, or if we have one of the countries that belongs to the SEE countries, etc. This is something very automatic that is done very quickly. And after that, for those applications that are eligible, there will be an expert evaluation. So each proposal will be evaluated by two independent experts, external experts that are paid for that. And after that, there will be a consensus meeting from the selection committee that will select, in the end, 4 CTTs. The last CTTs will be selected through this consensus meeting. And the 4 CTTs that are awarded, they will sign as a grant agreement. To start the program. So you have all this information that I'm going to very briefly talk about in the guide for applicants, but there are 3 criteria that are going to be taken into account as usual. One is the excellence, second one is the impact, the third one is the implementation. In each of the criteria, there are different topics that are evaluated. In excellence, the ambition, the innovation, the sound of the approach, in the impact, the benefits of the collaboration, the market opportunity, the competition analysis, the commercial strategy and scalability, and the impact in the lives of social sensitive groups. You will have some questions in the application form dealing with each one of these sub-criteria of each one of these topics. And you need to address all of them. For example, if you don't address the impact in the lives of social sensitive groups, you will be penalized. And the same if the analysis of the competition is not addressed, or things like that. So basically, the evaluation is done through what we call the approach of weaknesses and shortcomings. So if you don't address a topic, there is a weakness, and then you will be removed 1 point or 2 points, depending on the level of weakness. And the shortcomings are half a point, and it's that, for example, you analyze the competition, but this analysis is very poor. Regarding the implementation, there's a work plan. Very important, the contribution to the smart for all marketplace. You can find all the requested information or the needed information. You need to have to reply to this question in the website marketplace.smartforallproject.eu. The team, you will need to describe your team so that we can check the qualities of management and leadership and the resources. So for that, for the resources, you will have to complete a budget estimation template. We only need you to estimate the budget because in the end, it will not be taken into account for the payments. So the payments are, as I will explain in a while, are going to be done against deliverables, against the work you are doing. It's not against justification of cost. But we need to know if the budget you are going to distribute among the partners is reasonable, is sound, and for that we need to for you to complete this budget template that is going to be available in the application form. Another important thing for you to know is that in each section, apart from the boxes, you will have to reply to each question that have some limited number of characters. You will be able to upload a PDF as I say, for each section, a PDF to complement the information. For example, we understand that in market analysis and the market opportunity, competition analysis, etc., sometimes it's difficult to express in just a few words the projections of and the numbers of the market size, the targeted market, etc. So these tables, you can add them in a PDF and upload this PDF. The same for the excellence. If you have some graphics, you will explanatory graphics that you would like to include. This can be done through this PDF. So regarding the scoring, this is very typical. So each criterion is scored from 0 to 5 by each evaluator. So there is a threshold per criterion, which is 3, and the overall threshold has to be more than 10. Very important in this call is that, so in principle, the maximum number of points is 15 for each criterion, but we will include some extra points for each partner being a member of the SEE region, except Greece or from Ukraine. So if the 3 partners are from an SEE region or from Ukraine, or a mix of SEE plus Ukraine, except Greece, you would receive 3 extra points. And that you can receive an additional 4th point if the consortium is led by an Ukrainian partner. So this is the list of SEE countries: Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Hungary, Kosovo, Moldova, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Serbia. We have removed Greece from here, and this is wrong. Maximum extra points is 4. Sorry for that, because it's 3 points for each partner if they belong to the SEE countries, plus 1 extra point if the partner from Ukraine is led by is leading the consortium. So the maximum extra points could be 4. Regarding the financial support, is 80,000 for the whole CTT experiment, but the maximum amount per partner is 60,000. Okay, this is in theory, because in this call, it wouldn't make sense that one partner receives 60,000 and the other 2 only 20,000. That would be very imbalanced. But this is as a general rule that a partner for one call can receive a maximum of 60,000 euros. So here is this is very important. This financial support will be paid as a lump sum, and this is also wrong. Is not to the lead partner, but is going to be paid to each partner. This has changed from previous calls to this one. So what a lump sum means? It means that you will be paid 80,000 euros in total, independently on your budget estimation. If your budget estimation for the whole consortium is, for example, 90,000 euros, you will receive 80,000. And of course, in the budget estimation, you will see that there is a hint saying to you that you need to put an estimation of at least 80,000. But you will receive 80,000 if you perform the deliverables as requested. Another thing very important is that this 60,000 euros is per partner maximum in any kind of open call from Smart for All. But if you have received more than 100,000 euros in previous calls or in other I4MS and Smart Anything Everywhere projects, you won't be eligible. So the maximum amount that you can receive, that a partner can receive, not the whole consortium, one partner, one single partner, can receive in projects dealing with Smart Anything Everywhere, and Smart for All is one of them, or I4MS, this is not true, this is I4MS, then, as I say, the maximum amount is 100,000 euros. Just suppose that you have already been granted in a previous call from Smart for All by 40,000 euros. Now you could receive 40,000 euros without any problem because the maximum is 100,000. But if you have participated in another I4MS project and you have received 80,000 euros, now you could only receive 20,000. So the maximum is 100,000. Regarding the payment arrangements, there is a payment, upfront payment of 30% after you present individual mentoring plan, which is done together with your mentors 15 days after the signature of the SCA. Then after the month 5, there will be a midterm report. You will be paid 50%, and the final report 20%. For these reports, there's always a review of these reports, and there is an evaluation based on the report quality, on the technical KPIs, the business KPIs, and the deadline compliance. The technical KPIs and the business KPIs are fixed, are set in the individual mentoring plan at the beginning of the project. And if the score is above 7, you will be paid immediately. If it's below 7, then the selection committee will have to meet and it will decide whether to make the payment or eventually, if your performance is really, really bad, to exclude you from the experiment. This is very unlikely because normally you are in contact with, in close contact with your mentor. So basically when you present the report, everything should be okay. And finally, regarding the schedule, the open call evaluation and selection will start in January. The consensus meeting will happen in February, and then the start of the experiment is expected at the beginning of March and the end by the end of November 2023. This is the how to apply. This is the link that my colleague Linda was showing you with all the guides and documents that I recommend you to read carefully, because there you will realize all the details that have been gone through. And there are 2 help desks, one from the online community help desk and one from